Hello, ladies and gentlemen, good people of the internet. This is Jed from Your Guitar Academy. Today we're going to be looking at the solo on Have You Ever Loved a Woman by Freddie King. All right, so there I was just playing over the 12-bar form of this tune using a lot of the ideas that Freddie King is using in his solo in this song. I'll just tell you a few things about like where we are on the neck and what we're doing. So it's in the key of D flat. So it's D flat 12-bar blues. Pretty straightforward. I mean, if you know the blues form, that's what it is, just a 12-bar. It's mainly around like the first box position of pentatonic or the blues shape and also the second. So I don't think there's anything that happens in that fifth box shape. So we're going to be here on the fretboard, which is the, what fret is it? Ninth fret. So yeah, D flat blues, ninth fret, first box position and the second. When this solo starts, it's kind of like a B.B. King thing as well. We've got this. Now, I'm not exactly sure how he played it. He may have done this. But I prefer the sound I can get if I slide up to the root note on the B string. So that's right into that second box position. So this is the first lick or the first phrase in his solo, basically. It's a pickup into the form, so it's the bar just before the first bar. So what I'm doing is hitting this note here, which is the fifth or the ninth fret on the B string, and I hit that once. Then I hit the root note, so that's the ninth fret on the top E string. Then I slide up to the root note on the B string, and that's on the 14th fret. So I've got this. And I hit the root note on the B string 3 times. So altogether we hit the root note 4 times. After that, I'm hitting the minor third, so that's the 12th fret on the top E string, and I'm giving that a little bend. You know? Make it weep. When we hit that note, that's when the blues form starts. So what I can do here is with this looper, I can press that when I hit that note. So that sounds like this. Then we have that lick, which is excellent. You can put that anywhere in your own solos. You can throw that in pretty much at any point of the 12-bar form. And it's going to work. So what that is we're starting on the root note here, 14th fret on the B string, and then we're jumping to the 14th fret on the top E string and bending that note. So, and that's a full tone bend. You don't really hear the bend down, so you got. So it's a full tone bend there on the 14th fret. Then you bring it down quickly to the again the 14th. You just bring the bend down, pluck that note, hit the 12th fret on the top E string. Again with that tiny microtonal blues bend. Just, it gives it life, you know. You can experiment. Let's experiment now if I went... You can even go to the major third if you want. Depends on the feeling. How much you bend it changes how it feels. So we got that. And then we land back on that root note. So 14th fret on the B string. And if you give it some vibrato, that puts more life into it. So those first 2 phrases, again in context, would be this. Now I'm doing a lot of, movement on the guitar, lots of sliding after I finish a note or a phrase even. So it just adds something. I like that rather than, but that also has an effect. But just bear in mind how you end a phrase will have a big effect. So what do we have? So this is, I love this. This next lick is great. You got. It's unusual. I've never actually played anything like that before, but again, we're in the same place. It's kind of like BB box, second box position. Starting on the root note, so that's the 14th fret of the B string. Then we're going to play the 12th fret of the top E, then the 13th. And then what we do here is we slowly bend the 14th fret of the top E string, and we keep plucking it as we bend it. So, and you can do that as many times as feels right to you. I think that's what he does on the first time he does that. But he keeps kind of repeating this idea. So we've got. How many picks is that? I can't tell. I think that's 5. So we got 5. I'm doing 5 picks on the bending note on the 14th fret. And then I do 3. Okay, so we're going to take this idea, we're going to repeat it, but what we're going to do is change the number of times we pick the bending note. So the first time we'll do it 5. It's hard to think about that, man. Sometimes you just got to feel the number of times you're going to pick it. Yeah. So I'll do that in context. So we go. So on the last time, so he repeats that phrase 3 times. The last time he bends the note up and keeps. He gently brings it down, but in a real emotive fashion. So if I play all 3. He brings it down and then lands on the blue note. So halfway between, so if we're bending here on the 14th fret, it would be halfway between 16 and 14, so essentially 15. So about there. Somewhere that feels kind of, weird. Then we've got this phrase. So what that is that's playing around here, top of the BB box. It's going between 12 and 14. Again, with these microtonal bends. Down to the root note, 14th fret on the B string, and then finishing the phrase on that minor third, so the 12th fret on the top E string, with a slide. So what I'm doing here is I'm not phrasing this solo exactly the way that Freddie King phrased it, but I'm taking all the licks, I'm taking the phrases and playing them in my own way and how I feel them. So if we get to that bit, You can mess around with how long you want to play them, how short you want to play them. And in fact, you can just throw them in any blues soloing that you're doing. But that's those phrases there. So what do we have after that? So we got... That's what we have. So this is the next phrase that he plays, which is lovely. So we got... So what I'm doing there, bending up on the 12th fret of the B string, then I'm descending the minor pentatonic scale here. So the minor third, and then hitting the root note again. So the frets for that would be 9th fret on the top E string, 12th fret on the B string, 9th fret on the B string, 11th fret on the G string, 9th fret on the G string, and then you go back to your 9th fret on the top E string. So that phrase altogether sounds like this. And then he does a little bit after that. So we got... Which is great. So that's 9, 11, 9, and then we bend on the 11th fret and give it as much vibrato as possible. Well, maybe not as much as possible, but a healthy amount of blues vibrato. Great. So I'll try and play all of those phrases in context for you. So... Sweet. So that's the next phrase, something like this. We've got... Which is lovely. It's doing some strange things. So we've got kind of minor pentatonic, major pentatonic happening right at the end of the phrase. So we start... Which is unusual. So this note doesn't occur a huge amount in blues soloing, but it does here. So we've got the 11th fret on the A string. Again, it's first box position here, so minor pentatonic. So 9th fret on the A string. Sorry, not 9th, what is that? 11th. My mistake. We've got the 11th fret on the A string here, then the 9th fret on the D string, then the 11th fret on the D string. Then we do that again. 11th fret on the A, 9th fret on the D, 10th on the D, 11th on the D string. So that together is... And then we're going to be on the G string after that. So that's the 9th fret on the G string. Then we're going to bend the 11th fret on the G string. And this classic phrase that we've heard a million times. So that's bending on the 11th fret on the G string, and then the 9th fret on the B, and then the 9th fret on the top E. After that, we're doing the 12th fret on the B string, and then the 9th fret on the B string. So that phrase altogether sounds like this. Then you got that last bit, which kind of becomes major pentatonic. So what we're doing there is a slight sort of microtonal bend on the 11th fret on the top E string. We cut that note off, hit the root note, 9th fret on the top E string. Then we land back on the 11th fret on the E, and then the 11th fret on the B string. So all of that together is this. Which actually brings it really nicely into the 5 chord. So again, I'll play everything up to that point. So at this bit, he stays on that kind of major pentatonic feel. So we've arrived at the 5 chord, and he's doing this. I suppose it's like the BB box shape, but major. So you've got... And I know he ends this phrase, he goes back to minor for the very last bit of it. So what we're doing there is we're climbing up that major pentatonic. So what is that? 9 on the B string, 9th fret, 11th fret on the B string, 9th fret on the E, 11th fret on the top E, and then you hit that note twice. And the second time you're going to bend it up. And then you bend it up again, you pluck it again. So you've got... After that second bend, we've got the root note, 9th fret on the top E string, 11th fret, then 11th fret on the B, and then back to the root note, 9th fret on the top E. So far that sounds like... Then we have this. So what that is the 12th fret on the B, 9th fret on the B, and then bending up to the root note on the B string, which is at the 12th fret. So that phrase all together would sound like this. So after that, we return to essentially the beginning phrase. I always think of BB King when I hear that. That's so simple, but I love it. So there's that one, hitting the 5th and the root note, sliding up to it. Then that little rundown. So again, that 16th fret top E string, 15th fret top E string, 14th fret, and then a hammer-on pull-off from, 13 to 14, landing on the 14th fret on the B string. And then just to end the solo, he does this. So this is great. This makes me think of Charlie Christian. Charlie Christian was an old jazz blues guitar player, played with Benny Goodman. He was one of the first electric guitar players to play solos. And he did these phrases all the time that would kind of outline the chord. So if we're in the key of D flat, he would play phrases like this. So it's the chord with the 13 in it, or the 6, which is what Freddie King is doing here. He's sliding into the major 3rd, hitting the 5th, landing on the 6, and then ending on the root note. So the way you play that phrase is you slide from 8 to 10. I do that with my middle finger on the G string. Then you land on 9 on the B string, index finger, ring finger on 11 B string, and then you land on 9 top E string. And then there's 2 little phrases he does at the end. So this one's classic. So that is just bending up on the 11th fret, bending back down, hitting the 9th fret, and this is all on the G string. Landing on the root note, that's the 11th fret on the D string, and then this lovely phrase to end. So he ends the solo on the 5th rather than the root note. So a slight bit of tension there. And that very last phrase sounds like this. And the way you play it is like this. 9th fret on the G string, 11th fret on the D, and then 11th fret on the A string. So those are all the phrases and all the licks in the solo. Again, I'm going to have a little go at playing it in my own way through the whole thing. So let's have a go. 1, 2... So there I did some ad-libbing, made some of my own things up at the end there. I tell you what I'll do is I'll do it again, but I'll add more of my own ideas in. So it's kind of a mix of me and a mix of Freddie King. Let's have a go at that. Cool, well, there you go. There's also a wildness to Freddie King. So I wouldn't worry too much about nailing it exactly the way he did. You know, there was so much energy in his playing that, and I think the amps were very loud. And so there's but by its nature, it doesn't matter to get it exactly how he played it. You can do that if you want to, but I think the spirit of it is to aim for a home run. You know, every time you're playing one of those phrases. He really meant it. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.